Gemini, welcome to June. This is Gwendolyn. Welcome back to the channel, or if it's your first time here, welcome. This video is going to be a monthly Tarotscope for Cancer for June. And as you can see, this month I was for some reason called to use the Rider-Waite, which is the sort of a standard deck designed by Pamela Coleman Smith and Arthur Waite. But as you know, I usually use the Greer, but for some reason I'm just feeling called to use the Rider-Waite this month. So if you prefer this, let me know. I'll put a little link up top. I tend to prefer the Greer, but I like both of them. And then if you have other decks that you'd like to see me use, feel free to put those in the comments, and I have some other decks as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and get into June for Cancer. Let's see what's coming up. For the central card, we've got 3 of Cups in reverse. For your shadow card, it's 8 of Wands. For what's passing away, 10 of Swords in reverse. What's approaching is Strength in reverse. And what's highlighted is Ace of Swords in reverse. For week 1, King of Cups in reverse. For week 2, 2 of Wands. Week 3, we've got Emperor in reverse. And week 4, 2 of Cups. I know people love seeing that card. So for your general reading for June, you have some things, you have a lot of strength available to you that's coming in, but for some reason, I don't know if you believe it. Usually when cards are in reverse, the energies are present, but for some reason there's something like on top of it, or keeping it at bay, or keeping it under the surface. So for example, this one, 3 of Cups, this is your governing card for June, Cancer. This is a really fun card. It's a card of socializing, celebration, being around like-minded people. This is like 3 hearts that they're holding up. The cups represent emotion and heart energy. So it's like being with your friends, being surrounded by like-minded people, just adjusting the frame there a little bit. You know, feeling supported, feeling like you want to celebrate, feeling that, you know, just that you're surrounded by people who love and support you. When this is in the reverse position, there's a couple ways that I read it. Sometimes I read it as don't pay any attention to gossip, or like the peanut gallery, or like don't listen to the haters, or don't get involved in people who aren't like-minded to you or not supportive. But for some reason for you this month too, I'm getting the sense that you may have some parties and socialization and just social events available to you, but you may not feel like going. You may just want to be a homebody, and you may just kind of feel like staying in, even though you may be getting all these phone calls and saying, you know, come celebrate with us. We're doing this barbecue. We're doing a party. We're doing, you know, come to this event of, you know, artists or musicians, or come do this thing with all of us. And you're just feeling like, you know, maybe I'm just not into it. Maybe I'm just not feeling it. So allow yourself that, Cancer, if that's what's going on with you. Or conversely, if you're feeling like other people are saying things or spending time and you're feeling left out, you know, or just feeling like there's some negative talk, just let it roll off your back. Just be like a duck, you know, just let in one ear and out the other. Sometimes that's what 3 of Cups can manifest as. But if you're feeling like there's all this activity surrounding you, and that you're other people are out celebrating and having fun, and you're just not into it, or you're not feeling included in it, just let that be okay. You know, there's other stuff that's happening. In the shadow, things can be happening very quickly. This is in the shadow position, so this is usually below your consciousness. What this means is that things are lining up, maybe without you seeing it. And it means that things are 80 to 90% complete. That's what these wands aligning are about. You're receiving in your subconscious the last piece of information, the last puzzle piece, the last thing that unlocks the puzzle. And it usually means that things can happen very rapidly. So often when I see this card, I liken it to a pot of water that's getting ready to boil. So it's been heating and heating and heating and heating, and it can boil very rapidly. That's usually what this card means, is that things can happen very quickly. Although this being in your shadow position, you may not be able to see that. You may not see that things are happening below the surface, that things are 80 to 90% lined up, that the piece of information is coming to you and arriving. You don't have access to that. And that might be why you're either feeling like you don't want to participate in the thing, or I kind of get that some of you are dealing with something that kind of wore you down. And this is the end of a cycle. So this is a 10 card, which means the completion of a cycle. And it's also a completion of a certain way of thinking. Swords have to do with thoughts, beliefs, ideas, knowledge, wisdom, understanding. And a certain way of thinking, all of these swords have actually been drilling into you and causing you to lose your life force. And it's sort of like saying, I can't do it this way anymore. I've bottomed out. I'm done. That night is ending and a new day is coming. So you're actually releasing the cycle that is draining you. And you can't see that new stuff is lining up. You can't see that the water's ready to boil, but I do see that this is what's passing away. This is what you're letting go of. You've completed a cycle. And actually what's approaching for you is strength. You should, it's funny too, because I'm seeing some of you should really be celebrating that you're letting go of this, but you can't quite muster the strength to celebrate or see that you have cause for celebration because you're too depleted. But strength is what is arriving for you. And that's what's coming in, although you may not see that. This, because it's in reverse. It's like strength is here. Strength has to do with fortitude, endurance. It's not about force, and it's not about domination. In the picture, she is opening the lion's mouth, not out of force or control, but out of softness and out of patience, out of endurance and fortitude, being willing to hang in there and stick with it and be soft and open. So this is what's coming to you. Strength is what is arriving. It's having gone through this and released this that allows strength to come in. But I sometimes get that with this card in reverse, that you're doubting your own strength. You don't see what you've endured and how it's brought you strength and fortitude. You don't see that you have this new capability of almost like working the miracle of opening the lion's mouth. You may not see your own strength. You may not see it coming in, but you have it. It's what's arriving to you from having let this thing go. I also get the sense with this is your highlighted card. This is what's featured for you in June, and this is the truth card. This is the one truth. It's the Excalibur sword, and it's a new beginning. It's a new way of seeing something. It's a new wisdom, newfound wisdom. If you look at the contrast between these two cards, this is like competing thoughts that are all saying, pick me, and can sometimes be referred to as negative thinking. This is clarity. And this is connection with the truth. This is what sets you free. So, and this is like the divine wanting to hand you the clear truth, the one truth. This is the real way it is, the reality, the one belief, the one the truth, for lack of a better word. That's why it's crowned here. But when it's in the reverse position, it's kind of saying, I'm trying not to see that. I'm trying not to hear that. What resistance do you have towards seeing and admitting the truth just as it is? Is there any fear, doubt, resistance to acknowledging things as they are? Because that's what's preventing you from connecting with your own strength. It's preventing you from connecting with feeling celebratory, feeling uplifted and supported, surrounded by your friends, family, your tribe. And it's also maybe what's preventing you from letting go of this last cycle. You may be stuck here. And as you let this in, this is your highlight card. This is highlighted for you, Cancer. let the truth in, hear it, see it. It's crisp, it's clear, it cuts through all the nonsense. It's singular, you know, and it's an ace, so it's a new beginning. So I'm going to say welcome in that truth that connects you with your strength, that wants to come in as well, and that connects you with feeling supported, uplifted, celebratory, you know, with like-minded people, which is your feature for June. So that's really what's wanting to come in. You just have to allow it. For week 1, this is you, Cancer. King of Cups in reverse. Again, I'm just kind of feeling like you may be feeling a little emotionally unstable, a little not down in the dumps, but just gray. That's what I'm getting from this card. And I'm getting that it has to do with this 10 of Swords. One moment. My dog is wanting to go outside. I will be right back. So, Cancer, I kind of get the sense that this, you're feeling emotionally unstable, may have something to do with letting this go. So, whatever chapter is completing that you're actually like working on letting go of, that 10 of Swords, the old way of thinking, any negative thinking that's been draining you, I kind of get that any emotional instability that you may be feeling is related to that. It's actually in line with that. And it has to do with you coming into your own sovereignty of you deciding the rules and the way that things go in your kingdom and your empire. Both of these are kings. This is King of Cups, and this is Emperor, which is sort of like even the higher version of the king. This is the major arcana. So that's what's going on with this. There's a releasing of the negative thinking, of the way that is draining you, that is actually helping to strengthen you into a stronger person. But it's kind of, all this is in reverse, so it's kind of like turning your world upside down, potentially, and that may be why you don't feel like socializing in June. But know that like your strength is coming in and the truth is coming in. You might just have to get over any fears, doubts, or resistance of letting that in. There's stuff happening beneath the surface. And actually in week 2, if you feel in any way emotionally unstable or not on strong footing or floating out to sea or any of that in week 1, week 2 has some promise of feeling your personal power. So as you work on this, as you work on letting that go, and letting strength come in and letting the truth come in, week 2 sees you feeling bold, feeling your personal power, feeling like open to the world. This, when I see this card, I always say it's like feeling like the world is your oyster, feeling like you've got the world in the palm of your hand. So this is a real card of feeling bold and strong and confident and daring and like, I want to go take on the world. You know, it's almost like that feeling of experiencing balance. That's what the 2 energy is, finding your center, finding your footing. If this card is about being lost at sea, it's actually interesting because the sea is out here and they're overlooking, but here's where they've hit ground and they've planted that rod and saying, okay, this is where I'm going to fix my pole, fix the flag, and like, this is where I'm staking my claim. So if you're feeling that way in week 1, know that's part of letting go of the old way of thinking, the old cycle, any negative thoughts that are draining you in preparation for becoming emperor. And week 2 should see you feeling more like, okay, I've got this fresh energy to take on the world. I've got new horizons to look at. So that's what's coming on week 2. Embrace that, Cancer. And week 3, you know, there's a way in which you may have doubts that you can control your own world, that you have the final authority on what happens. This card 4, Emperor, is about rules and regulations and boundaries and order, structure, foundation. He's the emperor, so he rules an empire. And usually this is your life. Now, it's interesting because 2 of Wands means beginning an empire, you know, setting your flag in the land, in the territory, and staking a claim. Emperor in reverse says, I'm not sure I'm fit to rule. I don't know if I can wear that crown. I don't know if I trust myself to make the decisions, because he's the top ranking officer. This is a very military based card where he is the king. What he says goes. So there may be some doubts, fears, or resistance to being the one who is in charge, the one who has the final say, the one who's able to govern effectively and in a, you know, in a, that's just the word I'm getting, is effective way. So see if you can embrace being emperor during week 3. Whatever fears, doubts, or resistance that you have towards being emperor, you're graduating in a way, Cancer, during June from an emotional king that may rise and fall or feel out to sea through this having been drained of a certain way of thinking. As you release that, you actually become stronger and a more fit king. You actually take on a higher level of responsibility, of leadership, of decision making, all of that. So that's what's coming in week 3, but you may need to remove or work through any fears, doubts, or resistance about being that person. And then week 4, we have another 2 energy coming in. There's 2 of wands here and 2 of cups here. This is heart energy. So as you come into acceptance of your own strength, of accepting in the truth, you welcome in partnership. And this opens you up to sharing your heart with someone else. So this is a love affair card. This is a great card for marriage. It's a card for relationship. It's a card of exchanging hearts. So it's exchanging emotional energy with someone else. Usually in a romantic way. So this is a beautiful card to look forward to for week 4. Got some nice 2 energy, and that may help you also access your own strength. But you have to deal with whatever it is of the negative thinking that you're releasing. Some cycle has completed, and your highlighted card is to accept and receive in the truth. It's the universe is wanting to hand it to you. Don't say, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to acknowledge it. I fear it. I doubt it. I resist it. Welcome that in, because there's some good things coming in for you with it. So that's my reading for you for June, Cancer. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up or share it with another Cancer who you think might enjoy that message. If you're interested in one of these mats, I have links to those on my website. And as always, I just want to thank everyone so much for watching. Yours in the stars.